Right, everybody, welcome back to the Rain and Pain podcast, episode 6? 5? I can't remember what episode it is. We're doing so well, we've lost count. I'm the host, Harry Lightfoot, with my co-host up to the left, Charlie Gray. Drinking his... What are you drinking there, Charlie?
It's just a cup of tea, mate.
Cup of tea, very nice. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Very well, thank you very much. And up to our right, a very infamous guest, market raising legend, ex-player, now market raising president, Dean Hutchinson. How is Dean?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. I will correct you slightly. It's Dean Holvey Hutchinson.
Holvey Hutchinson, my apologies.
Yeah, so I'm good, thank you. And the legend bit does not sit well with me, thank you very much. I hate it with a passion. So
Stalwart?
Just old bastard is probably better. And hanger on, limpet, leech.
The problem is if you tell people you don't like things, there's a habit that it crops up in the week, and so everyone will be calling you a legend for next.
Yeah, I just think, look, there's legends just it's slung about a bit, isn't it? To be fair, there's a lot more people worthy of that. There's a lot more people worthy of that than me, but there's also a lot of people out there who would probably like to be called a legend or absolutely not.
Yeah.
Who are the more worthy then, off the top of your head? If you had to give legend status to a...
Oh, that's a real big one. For me, because obviously everybody puts a legend in their own. It's in their own right and in their own thinking. For me, some of the legends who I would say of legends who I've played with, who still spends a bit of time down. Like Archie is a bit of a club legend. Archie Barnard.
Yeah.
Nails. He was a proper legend, and he was an authoritarian in his day when it came to keeping the lads in line. He was very good at that. Nobody'd argue with Archie. They won't argue with him now.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't do it now.
He goes down, and there's obviously old Cham is a club legend because he's done huge amounts for the club over the years. When I started playing, I played with him a few times as well, so shows my age more than his probably. And he's done a huge amount for the club over the years. And I played with him a little bit. Obviously, he was past his best when I played, but there's a bit of historical license with legends, isn't there, that you've not played with.
Yep.
I'm sure he was a hard man when he played, but I would say he's probably down there as a club legend. But like I say, it's something that gets chucked about a bit, and it certainly doesn't sit very well with me.
Is legend status for you? Is it time in the club? Or is it just a case of if you've been there for 70 years, you're automatically legend, or is it about exploits?
No, absolutely not. If you've been there for 70 years, you're automatically a legend, because you can be there for 70 years and be a pain in the arse, and nobody really wants you to be about. There's probably some guys who I played with who probably didn't play for very long, who were some of the best players I've played with, and in my mind they were legends in their own time, but they've not been club stalwarts, so you can put it in different brackets really. We had some fabulous players who come and they came and went within 2 or 3 seasons, but left a mark on the club, or certainly left a mark on individuals, probably not the wider club, because in my time it was quite, the first team, not as now, were quite insular. I think that would be fair to say. Now you guys are out there and doing all this sort of thing, and the club tries to be very inclusive, and we include everybody, and so you're a bit more recognisable, and
Any club legends in the making, do you know, that you can see in today's day and age?
Probably not in front of me at the minute. No,
wasn't fishing for that.
Yeah, I know you want. No. Yeah, look, what I would say is I played for over a long period of time. I started playing around 91, I think it was 92, and up until probably 10 years ago when I stopped playing properly. So in that time, and looking now at the team that I regularly come and watch in the first team, potentially as a team, I think you guys have the opportunity to possibly supersede anything that has been done in the past. It's whether you lot believe that or not is a different matter. But watching from the outside, looking in, don't get involved with too much of what's going on. But what you're doing or what you're trying to do, you know, you could supersede any side that's gone before. You got a bit to do on that. There's no doubt about that. But have definitely 100% have the potential to do that. Then the individuals, you know, yeah. Tell you what, there's a young lad who. I suppose they all look at this, and nobody likes particularly. Some people do like smoke being blown up their arses, but some people don't. I look at Will Day. Is that the right? Is it Will, isn't it? Yeah. I see a bit of something in him. He's a really good player. Curtis, a decent player. Obviously suffered with an injury just recently. But don't think you've got to do it all as a team first before you can sort of start picking individuals out. Particularly, hey, look, I know he's my nephew, but you've got to say Spen is special in many ways, but he's a great player.
Yeah,
you know, he is a great player, and he probably recognise as well that, you know, he's being captain of the side's not an easy shift, not an easy gig, but I do think he's growing into it. So. Yeah, chucking names about is right. Charlie, I thought you had a great game at the weekend, I have to say. Seriously, best I've seen you play by some distance, I think. And it was a great game to watch, honestly. You lads, for the likes of myself who are watching, I can honestly say I've got over that stage now of where you're watching and you're thinking, well, yeah, me and Nish often used to stand there saying, yeah, we could do that. Obviously, Harry,
Nish still does.
Yeah, he does. It's slowly waning, but you know, Nish is a club. He's a club legend on and off the field. I would say that he was an incredible player, and we stand there watching, giving it, you know, in our day and all that. That's gone now. For me, that's gone. I watch and admire what you guys are possibly doing. Miss playing.
I think that's important that you say. Sorry, I think that's important that you say that, because sometimes I've had the sense of I've been, let's say, in and out of Raisin for like about 10 years now, and before there was always a feeling of whenever anybody went away and they'd finished playing, there was a tendency to, you know, kind of on the current team basically, and the whole attitude was, well, you're not as good as we were and you never will be. And I think everybody is always going to have a little bit of that, but the problem is it's not a great philosophy to leave behind for your players. And so you saying that it might be round two, and you know that we have the potential to go further, probably inspires a lot of the younger players as well.
What I would say with that is that, I'll be honest with you, you look at some of the ex-players who are kicking about and probably some of the ex-players who come and watch. There's very few that, realistically, there's not that many who come and watch.
Yeah.
So I would call anybody out if they, from my era and sort of a little bit after that and before, they really can't have a true opinion on it because they don't come and watch you week in, week out. They don't see the potential. When I watch a game. You know, I actually watch a game of rugby. So, you know, it's very difficult from afar. It's easy from afar to throw a few stones into it and say you're never going to be as good as what we were. Well, that's it's not all about the trophies or winning the league and all that, because what I would say is that I think that the standard of the leagues in depth is better than it was when I was captain and we had a phenomenal run. I will say that there were a few really, really good teams out there. I think there's more good teams out there that take some beating now. It's more of a level playing field.
Yeah.
I think that would be fair to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, but coming and watching, honestly, and being embraced by the side, you know, we can happily watching you guys to a man. Nobody's turning their nose up and, you know, thinking that we're just old Alec-a-doos kicking around, you know, just coming down for a few beers and what have you. You know, I do think that we genuinely, the team or teams have embraced the the older generation a little bit more than what we probably did when I was captain. Nice dog.
Just see it creeping up.
It's about to lose its mind chasing its own tail.
No, I think you touched on it a little bit, Dean, as well. I feel like the structure and sort of the direction we're moving in at the moment is really good as well. Obviously, we've got 3 teams out on a regular basis now. Full junior section, women's rugby is kicking off. I feel like the whole club dynamic this year especially just feels a lot different to anything I've been a part of so far. Obviously, I've not been about for ages, but
yeah, I would agree with that. But what I would say is that obviously we had this big COVID bollocks thing come out, didn't we? That left a massive hole in all sports, and rugby really did suffer through the COVID thing. And we were very fortunate during that and coming out of that the likes of Ed Timmins, Mikey Starling, I think it's not lost on me that how much they did to keep things rolling along.
Yep.
Before the structure came back in, they set it all up and all that sort of thing. But they did an awful lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that Raisin kept, we stayed alive, as it were. So I think that they did build the foundations. As a club, I think we've been fairly brave in some of the decisions we've made with coaching. It's well documented that we've had some iffy coaches. Look, we had Freddie in, that didn't really work. But look, I certainly didn't, and I wouldn't think the club don't regret doing that because it was a bit of fun while it lasted.
And you never know, it could have been the best decision you made.
It could, and at the same time, some lads had a little bit of fun with it, but it just didn't work out for us. Yeah. And before that, was it Tomo before then? Were you lads involved when Tomo was about?
Slightly,
That was just didn't work out for us. And then Eddie took it on and did what he could do with the club, and then obviously Paul came in and Cookie and has taken over the head coach role, which, Cookie played with me when I was captain. He came along as I was captain, so I've known him for a long time, and I think what he puts in and the detail is what you guys are probably benefiting from. I've not actually seen him coaching as such, but I can't imagine him being a particularly shouty guy. I might be wrong. He might be really shouty. I think I'll did leave it up to Starlo. Does he do all the shouting and the effing and jeffing?
Bit of both, I think.
Really? I just can't imagine Cookie
if you get him worked up, you can set him off. But he's normally pretty. But I think he's just passionate about stuff.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it must have been very frustrating for him as well recently, because I'd say it's the last 2 performances where really we've put everything together that he's actually trying to put into us. So like all the things that he said, okay, we're going to start doing that, is really the last 2-3 performances. Well, let's say it's probably been happening over the last 4 performances, but the last 2 results, let's say,
yeah,
where we've kind of put everything together and gone, oh yeah, no, that's the side now. So I think between the start of the season and a couple of weeks ago, it was probably quite a frustrating time in the Cookie household, because he's probably walking away thinking, I'm asking these lads the same thing every week and they're not doing it. Yeah,
but at the same time, you'll I'm sure you guys have spoke about this at length, and I've seen some of the narrow defeats, and it's the tiniest things that you can flip round and they could have been narrow victories, and the actual atmosphere around you guys is a completely different dynamic.
Yep.
So, but you learn. I've always been a big believer, and you learn so much more from your defeats than you do your victories.
Yep.
That's a personal, the way I've always looked at things. Although we probably went for 3 years when we had a good run, and winning and losing is a habit. There's no 2 ways about that. And we went for 3 years, probably losing 7 or 8 games over 3 years. And there's a lot of them games which were close that the reason we won because we knew how to finish games off and that sort of thing. So it is a habit. And, you guys are obviously willing to learn, and you're listening. You're listening to what's being told, and you're trying to put it, into practice on the turf, as it were.
100%. 100%. Well, if we move into current like sort of performances and things, obviously, like you've said, you've been to the last few coming away to Loughborough home games and things. You've sort of seen our peaks and troughs throughout the season already. What are you sort of seeing from the sidelines that's sort of going wrong? What are you sort of seeing that's that we're doing well, and where do you sort of see us going for the end of the season?
Firstly, I'm a big believer in that everybody is allowed an opinion. If you're watching something, we're allowed an opinion. But at the same time, I certainly wouldn't say saying this is what you're doing wrong and blah, blah, blah. That's to the coaches. That's to deal with that. And you guys know. You guys come off the pitch and you know why it's gone wrong and what have you. I came away to Nuneaton Old Edwardians, was it?
That's the first game of the season.
We got properly humped.
Yeah. You
look like you shit scared of their number 8, who was a decent player, but nobody wanted to get stuck into him and things like that. The aggression levels were, I would say, from that game to the game on Saturday, it's just unrecognisable. The commitment in the tackle on Saturday is what that set the standard. That's what. That wins you the games. We'll always score some nice tries and some flashy tries, and we'll always score tries. But defensively, it actually made the hair stand up on your arm watching defensive sets when teams are slowly going backwards, metre by metre, they're going backwards. Eventually, they'll cough it up. And watching that compared to us stepping to one side and letting their big number 8 score, did he score 5 tries?
I wasn't there that game, so I'm not sure.
I never played.
Oh, there we go then. It was me and Charlie.
But the difference is incredible.
Yeah.
And away at Loughborough last week, it was just the smallest thing. There might be 2 or 3 things during the game that didn't work, but it's just the smallest of things. So defensively, we've obviously got our shit together massively.
Yeah.
And like I say, sometimes we could. Do you think we still left a few tries out there?
Yeah.
And that
I think we left a lot.
Yeah. So I think that if we continue to progress like we have done, we are going to become a force. Yeah, we've got off to a really slow start. We're not going to be pushing for promotion. I don't think. I might be you lads. I don't know. You lads might have something in your mind a bit different to that. But it's going to take some.
It's going to be tough now.
It's going to be really tough.
Yep.
But we're obviously going to be able to set out a real good platform to really push again next season. But staying focused for all this season is a big key. Winter, you get into the Christmas period is always a tough time. And whatever your conditions are changing, no game this weekend, is there?
No.
So I don't think that helps us a great lot. It's a shame coming off the back of a really good victory last week. A bit of momentum might have helped this weekend, but that is what it is. So sides won't relish coming to Market Rasen to play. There's no 2 ways about that. But what we've got to do is try and turn a little bit of away form. Commitment from lads, it's pretty good, is it? The commitment's pretty good from the lads squad. He gets to select what he wants. Is that fair?
Yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't say it's about him not being able to select what he wants or what he doesn't want. I suppose we're just maybe a little bit light for covering certain positions. I think that's just the standard.
Yeah.
Like specialist props are always quite in short supply. So, it only takes one of our props to drop out, and then we've got to have a kind of reshuffle the deck a little bit. But otherwise, commitment-wise, we can fault it.
Yeah.
I think we've done really well commitment-wise this year.
As I say, I think this season, obviously Cook is finding his feet as well, and I think he has done that. And I think this season could potentially be a massive springboard for. I can remember saying to when Spencer was named as captain that in a way, when I captained the club, I captained the club at the best time in the world. We had a squad of great players, a great coach at the time, so I was very fortunate. And as a captain, you reap the rewards of that. But it's not lost on me that the only way that happens is with a lot of hard work from everybody else around you and a real coach. And I said to Spencer at the start of the season, I feel that He's in a probably a year behind where I was, but in a very similar position to what I was as captain.
Yep.
That wow, what a great time to be captain of the club. And you've got to embrace it, because it's quickly gone and lost on you. You soon chucked on the scrap heap when it's done.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said at the start, he's slowly coming into his own with it as well, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think he'll start filling that role as well. Just I suppose as everything grows as well, and he's settling on maybe a position, and because he's played a bit of 13, a bit of 15, a bit of 10, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's probably made the 10 position his now. I don't know, they might have other ideas of that, but I really do think that, because we've got a decent 15.
Thanks, Steve.
He certainly won't want to be giving that position up, but sometimes injuries and what have you dictate. It's as simple as that. And actually on-field skippering, when I don't always like harping back to when I was playing.
Back in my day.
Well, when I was captain, and I was never a particularly vocal captain. I was good at doing all the organising, blah blah. On the field, I had some real big characters around me. Ollie Cole did a lot of the talking. He was with us for the first season, I think it was, and then he went off to Newark. But we've got the likes of Ollie Cole, Dave Starling. Who else would be in there with me? God, Matthew Neesham, Andy Neesham, big characters who you didn't really have to skipper on the field.
Yeah.
Ollie was probably the main sort of inspiration on the pitch. And has Spencer got that big character who he can turn to just keep giving him a nudge and telling him he's doing the right things and what have you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. 10's a difficult position to play defensively. You're orchestrating the attack. I think his load could be lightened somewhat on actually play during a game, where he doesn't have to make them big decisions. When you've got a big character there who can do that for him, who's not a captain, but an inspiration.
Yep.
Yeah, leader anyway.
A leader anyway, yeah, just a natural leader. Yeah, I had probably 14 natural leaders on the pitch, and that brings its own difficulties.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it
Helps
was
a lot
like
as well.
it was an absolute armchair ride for me.
Good. That's what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, let's talk a little bit more about you, Deanan.
Ooh.
You are now, as of this year, Market Raisins president. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
What sort of made you want to become president? Why?
I was senior vice president 10 years ago and kept putting off being president because of there's a bit of commitment involved, and the time wasn't right. I've still got a big family. I've got 5 kids, so they all take a little bit of tidying up. I think the time was right for me because of my nephew's club captain, and my stepson plays a bit. Toby, he's involved, so it makes it very easy for me to come and watch, coach the under-14s and help out with that. So I'm in and around the club. So I just thought it would be a real good time, because I'm just in my early 50s, and I don't, in my mind, I've done a long stint at the club in roles. I chair the committee and do all that sort of thing. So I've done a lot, and I want to do a few more years, and then I'm not that I don't enjoy it now, but then I'm going to enjoy the club.
Yeah.
As a spectator
And a member.
and socialise. Absolutely. Oh, Charles gone.
Carry on, Dean.
So the time, there's never because of commitment wise, there's never a great time, because, I have a lot of other interests outside of rugby,
Yep.
but the club means just a huge amount to me.
Yep.
And I'm very proud to be the president, as I was captain in the side, and as I've been chairing the committee. So I absolutely, and if you ask Beth, my wife, she'd tell you I absolutely, sleep, eat, and breathe the rugby club. So
I think that's really good for players coming up as well. It rubs off on us having senior members of the club having that much love and passion for the club, because it does rub off on us and it makes us want to be better for you as well.
Yeah, and I don't feel that as president, I don't feel too detached from you guys.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you bring that point up, Dino, because it was noted on Saturday the president hasn't brought one pitcher of beer into the change rooms yet this season. Talking of detachment, that's direct from Big Dino Dean.
Tell Dino Dean from the real deal Dean. I hate there being another Dean in the club.
From Legend Dean.
I did buy all you lads your boat race drink the other week. When you boat race, who was you playing? So anyway, it cost me 78 quid.
Oof.
So
Invoice to Dino Dean.
yeah, tell Dino Dean to get.
You know what? It cost you 78 quid. They went away thinking they'd won that. That was against Mansfield.
It was Mansfield, that's right.
We had 4 extra players in the boat race. That's right.
Really?
Yeah. Spen was counting up the boat race, and Spen's counted it wrong. We've done 4 extra pints.
Oh, so okay, point taken. That's a little nudge in my direction.
Shots fired. That's direct from Dean, though. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Just with the president as well, Dean. Sort of, obviously you're still new to the role, but what so far has been the most rewarding part of it, and what's also been like the most challenging part of it?
Yeah. To be honest, being president is more of a figurative role than a doing role. We're going to do a few bits. We've got some dinners and this, that, and the other coming up. So I really enjoyed the presenting the caps to some current players and ex-players. I think that was quite a proud moment. I'm receiving one myself, which was quite humbling. And so we're organising, me and Nisha are organising the ball for the next summer. So that's a big thing that we sort of getting behind.
Do you want to just plug it out at the moment for the fans? Do you have a date?
When is it? The 7th of June next year.
June the 7th
next year.
There we go.
75 years at the rugby club. It's going to be a really big event, and I want the event filled with the rugby club. We're not going out there trying to find sponsors' tables and what have you. The sponsors are all going to be invited to have a table if they want one, but it's more about the family that we have there, and all of the ex-players and ex-stalwarts, the current crop. So we're looking for between 25 and 30 tables for that, so a maximum of 300 guests. So
very nice.
It's all inked in, and we're doing it. I think 11 or 12 tables have already gone. So you players, need to get your arses into gear and get some tables reserved.
Is it who are people messaging for tickets?
Me or Niche?
Your Niche.
Me and Niche are organising it. We love all that. And when Niche is organising something, it's only going to be a piss up, isn't it?
Well, book us one in now, Dino, and invoice other Dino. He'll sort our table out. He'll sort it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. So that's going to be a great event. Looking forward to that. We've got the Baltic Donkeys are playing there as well, and they are a proper ball band, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So, and then we're going to have a few bits and bobs going on in January. We've got a president's dinner, and then there's going to be an ex-captain's day across being captain at any level of the club.
Nice.
Not just first team captain, second team, and third team. And one time a day we ran 4 sides and a veteran side. So there's going to be opportunity for people to come down for that. I think there's a dinner on the 21st of December as well. At the rugby club for ex-players that Polly and Cham organise, which is always a really, really good do. It's got a bit of a festive feel to it. So
final game before Christmas as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got, obviously, at the end of the season, there'll be the club dinner, players' dinner. We've got a speaker set up for that. So that's all in. So we've got Tom Croft coming for that.
Oh, very nice. That was my next question.
Oh yeah, so Tom Croft agreed to come and talk at that. We seem to have this Leicester It's always
What's
a
the
Leicester
theme?
Tigers, but it's the easiest way to do it because some of you get to the likes of Delalio and them boys, they're just some serious money, and it's just not achievable. But
Yeah.
anyway, it'll be great. It'll be good. Croft is
100%.
a nice lad. He's a good lad. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Perfect. And just one more on the president side of things. Future visions for the club. Where do you sort of see the club in 5 years' time?
Well, I won't be president.
No, but, well, just as a spectator, where do you see it?
As a in the playing side of things, look, well, obviously there's the development is a stage at the moment where we're seeing, and we've got everything's out there to see if we can get some funding behind doing some form of development for the club. But that aside, because I don't want to get into too much detail with that aside, as a playing club, it's sustainability. It'd be great to sustain a minimum of 3 sides at senior level, but with the Colts and the younger lads, because would I be right in saying that university is not always quite as appealing nowadays as it used to be? So we're not going to lose quite as many
Probably
kids off to university. If they can find employment more locally, we'll stand a better chance of holding on to the Colts. So I'd like to see that carry on as it is, because I think we're very fortunate with the amount of Colts that are coming through to play at the senior 11 at the moment.
And the talent of them as well.
Oh,
There's some serious talent on show.
Absolutely. And I think it would be beneficial for us to play at a slightly higher level to avoid some of the younger lads wanting to go and play at that higher level from actually leaving. I'd rather us take them to that.
Yeah, 100%.
Then we're not going to be, and I don't think I'd be speaking out of turn if I said this, that we're never going to be a club who are shelling loads of money out to pay for players. We're just not that type of club, and it's just, I don't think it's a sustainable thing at this level to do. Mm-hmm. But I want people to play for the club because I want to play for Market Rasen and Louth Rugby Club, because of what we do, the way we look after people, and the success that will breed success if we can embrace these people. You guys are playing at Rasen for a reason, because you want to be part of something, and you, as I said, you have the potential to be part of something really good going forward over the next 4 or 5 years. So yeah, I would love to see us in the next league up. Certainly over the next 3 years would be fantastic, but I don't want us to become a yo-yo club where we go up and it's just, I always think clubs are all right for a season or two, but sustaining it at a high level is quite difficult.
Yep, nice goal to have though.
it depends. It depends what takes you up and what you've got to replace it as well. I think a good point, a nice thing that's happening at the minute is that the twos have started training with the ones as well, and in some areas they're probably like an ideal twos team at the minute if you look at them, because there's quite a lot of skill in that side. There's a good balance of older heads and then young lads with skill, and really probably the biggest difference between some of those young lads coming into the first team is just physicality and size, because some of them are 18. If you take like Curtis, he's got all the ability over the next, as you said earlier, he's got all the ability over the next 2 or 3 years to be like a really good first team player. He probably just needs to come into being a full Market Rasen ugly man. If you want to play in that Market Rasen pack, there's a price to pay, and the price is being handsome. You've got to be ugly, you've got to be a bit horrible and a little bit overweight. That's just price and admission, I'm afraid.
I think there's probably lads who are playing in the twos as well who probably think that they should be playing in the ones, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Accepting playing in the twos, if you have aspirations of playing at a higher level as you can, I think is a bit weak to accept that you're a twos player. I'm not saying, you go down, you should go down and you should prove a point and say, well, I'm here, pick me. But there is only 15 spots of a starting team, and however many you have on the bench, three on the bench. There's only so many places you can fill in the first team. So unfortunately, lads do miss out. But that's all part of being involved in a club like ours. That it's your job to go and make. We're playing in leagues now as well in the second and third team, which makes it better.
Yeah.
And the second team are running very well at the moment and going very well.
Yes, the bags of potential.
Yeah,
I suppose that's just the point that probably helps avoid the worry of being a yo-yo club, because if you think, okay, in 5 years' time, this first team's been drained out, there's that second team of that second line there. If they've been learning from the first team players in the meantime.
Yeah, and you sometimes when you're training, you're doing run-throughs. There's nothing worse than doing unopposed run-throughs, is there? It's like, and you'll often find if you have a second team doing run-throughs with a first team, they fucking spoil everything.
Yeah.
But that's no different than a Saturday. And,
yeah, no, 100%.
You know, and it can be quite annoying when you're trying to put some stuff together, but it's real. And having that at training, I don't know whether do you get some opportunities to have some D events?
This year especially, I would say most Thursday run-throughs pretty much turn into a full ball game. It goes from touch to hold to almost tackling full rucks because them twos players and threes players who are wanting to push for them high spots are agitated that they're not being picked or whatever, and they're giving it some, and we've got the ones have got to give it some back during the run throughs. It's really good. It's really good.
It's very effective doing that because there's nothing worse than doing an unopposed run through. It's so unrealistic, especially for the forwards as well. You know, they're going into rucks and then it's just too quick. It's so much quicker than it is on a match day.
Yeah. That's been very good training so far.
Yeah, good.
Charles?
Right, we're going to go into some what Harry calls his silly questions.
Oh, yeah.
You know the Run It Straight challenge? From performance on Saturday, if you had the ball now in your hands, who did you not want to run at and get tackled off on Saturday? And who did you want to run at and get tackled off on Saturday? Who could you still biff?
Do we have to answer? I reckon I could biff every fucking one of you.
Well,
no.
Let's put a pint of pictures in the middle and we'll set you and Dino Dean up and we'll have a team off.
Hang on, yeah. Look, Dino upright is a big old boy, isn't he? Yeah. I'll tell you what, consistently, I thought you've simplified it slightly by running in. I think I wouldn't have wanted Dean on his marauding run.
Did you see on his marauding one? Once he gave the ball away, he sped up. He got faster to run and celebrate than he did with the ball.
I know, but it was a fantastic moment. It really was. So I wouldn't really want him running at me. Who would I want to run
at? Who do you reckon you could?
Poor old Chris.
Oh, Dougie.
Yeah, I played with Chris. He's such a good lad, but yeah, I'd have just run over him. That's simple, isn't it? That's just a simple target. But I played at 8 for the second half of my rugby playing career, and yeah, a good 9 was always had some good fun with a 9. So,
what about old school boys? Who would you not want to run at? Who would you want to run at?
Oh, mate, in our when I was probably referred to when I was skipper. We had a guy called Rob Mitchell who played for us, and it was just by chance that he came. He was called Scotch Rob, but he was Welsh. He was a big lad, and he was a loss adjuster in agriculture, and he just turned up at Niche's to look at something, and Niche got into his ear about coming down. So luckily enough, he came down to us, and it was my first year as captain. And at training, it was like, mate, he was an animal around the park. Anyway, he jumped straight into our first team. He had generally played at 6 or in the second row, and he was just such an angry player. Just a beast, quality, lovely lad until he'd had a drink, and he was awful, horrible. But we had quite a few of them in my team. We had a lot of them in my team. So he was a real physical guy. Archie, before then, when I was younger, he would clothesline people on a regular basis, and if Archie got his big mitts on you, you knew about it. So there was some real good, some real hard lads. But you know, Lee was a savage player. A pain in the arse, Lee did, a real pain in the arse for the opposition. Often wouldn't be able to stay on the park, but he was a good lad to have in your side. We had quite a few enforcers who played for us. Who were tricky characters to deal with, though. But I would say that the hardest lad that would be Rob Mitchell. Real hard lad, tough lad, good lad as well. Good lad.
Well answered. Very nice.
Right. If you could bring one player from the current team into your team when you were captain, who would have fared the best from the current team back in your day?
This is don't take this as a cop out, because it's not. We had nobody really nailed the 10 spot down that regular. We had some really good 10s over my playing career. We had some really good 10s, but Spencer would have fitted in as a 10 into our team. But obviously Cookie was playing at the time, so but Spencer would have really fit. And that's not a cop out, because he's my nephew. He just would have.
Tell it to the fans. Tell it to the fans.
I know. So
We'll see.
Obviously, Harry wouldn't have got a look in, because Nish is one of my best mates, and there's no way that I would have dropped him ever in a million years.
I won't argue with that. That's fine.
And he was half decent as well.
Oh, so he tells me.
Yeah, he was half decent. Hey, what it was with Nish was a fullback. You'd often get a big lanky second row, would break the line, a bit like Dino did on Saturday, and then look at Nish and they'd think, no problem. They wouldn't even try and avoid him. They think they'd run over him. He never missed his man. He'd always put him on his arse.
That's what I love about Liam Dufton as well. A lot of people run straight at Liam Dufton thinking they're going to run over him, and never happens.
Get a piece of them, yeah.
Never happens.
Get a piece of them, so, yeah.
Spencer, then. That's all right.
Sorry.
He made 11 tackles on Saturday, Dufton did.
Did he really?
Yeah. Bridges started doing the battle stats for us, so we all know our carries, tackles.
I tell you what, as well, Will Day, he didn't get a lot of ball in open play, but he made quite a few tackles as well.
Yeah, he did.
Very well.
He was 13 as well.
Yeah.
13 mark.
Yeah.
Yep.
I made 0.
Yeah. Did you actually?
Yeah. Honestly, the last 2 weeks I've not needed to tackle anyone. Someone else has already done it.
Your wingers are tidy.
Yeah. No one has broke the line the last 2 weeks.
Fair,
that's how good
we're
doing.
The middle on Saturday. We did it really. We didn't let anything through the middle. So.
And Loughborough, it was all forwards.
Yeah. So how many did you get? How many turnovers did you get, Charlie? Because you was over the ball a lot.
Well, Bridge didn't count me with any, but I got 2.
That's because he's a back.
Yeah, he's done me dirty on that one as well. He's not counted a couple of tackles, I reckon. It wasn't a big day for carrying for me. Normally I carry a little bit better than that.
No, you was busy.
But
tackling wise.
Yeah. Busy tackling, busy on the dips, but
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just good as well. That's a shout out, Pridge. Another thing that we're doing professionally, and I think someone made the point like the Pridge is now doing these battle stats. So I think it's tackles, meters made, carries, stuff like that. And I think some people probably didn't realise how, or just generally as a squad, maybe we didn't realise how unevenly we're distributing work and how unevenly people weren't doing or were doing and not doing. And so once the numbers are there, everyone's really stepped up. And I think, if you look at the battle stats from whatever they were from this week, I think we've got 4 or 5 players that have made 15 plus tackles each.
Yeah,
it's quite good.
Yeah, well, I think when you've got stats and then you've got the video and what have you have to be accountable, because you can't sit in the changing room and say, "Oh, you're wrong." Yeah. Well, the evidence is there that or if you want to say, "Look, I'll put in a shift today," the evidence is there to prove that.
Yeah.
So the statistics and the video, they just add another layer of detail to what information is key to what you want to do. And if you feel the need to call somebody out as well for being a lazy bastard, you can do it.
Yeah. Another level of performance as well. It almost makes you want to perform a bit better. You want to look good on the camera. You want to look at Bridges' stats and see that your name's got the most tackles or whatever. Like it does push you a bit more to make the difference as well.
Yeah.
Or get smiled at by Cham. Well, smiling's too much. Cham might nod at you. If you make 30 plus tackles in a game and score 8-9 tries, sometimes Cham will say hello to you.
Yeah,
that's what I'm searching for.
Yeah, well, you'll not get well done. I can guarantee you that.
No.
We did see a nice Chris Darling smile after the scrum try on Saturday. Actually,
Yeah,
that was a sight to behold.
yeah. He will have enjoyed that.
Right, are we on to quick fire round?
If you'd like to, brother.
Right, we're going quick fire questions, which means you got no time to think, Dean. You just got to bash them out. And these are sent in from the fans as well. We call them fans.
Right, okay.
This is sent in from predominantly Pete Southwell, but we'll see how we get on. Right, question 1. Would you rather get 50k a month, but you have to stub your toe every day, or £5 million a year, but you have to break your own finger every 6 months?
Another 5 million, because I reckon I could stand breaking my own finger. I won't stub my toe every day.
That's a Pete Southwell special.
That's the worst question I've ever read.
Yeah, it's shit.
Cheers,
Well
Pete.
done.
Shout out, Pete.
Well done, Pete. Right, who was better? Or let's say, actually, the question written is, what was better, Matt or Andy Neesham?
Oh, no, you can't. That is a ridiculous question.
Quick fire questions,
Quick
Dean.
fire, Dino.
Matthew.
He said it. Right, how do you feel your touch judge performance was on Saturday?
Mine was really good. My old boy's one very good.
When he fell over, bless him.
Bless it. Hey, he's got a broken collarbone. He slipped over and hurt himself.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh,
And matey boy, I'm not sure his foot was in touch. But anyway, I told him to get his flag up. And then Cookie had a shout at me about, you are on our side. I thought my touching, that sounded bad. I thought my touchline performance was excellent, considering I'm only on one knee at the moment.
Yeah,
Thank you. You're
very
welcome.
true. Very
Very
true.
well.
You're
That's
welcome.
the kind of rugged raisin performance we're talking, dedication to the cause.
Absolutely.
Worst tattoo in the club, and why?
In the club,
Yeah.
yeah, I've got a few shit ones. Yeah, I'm good. I'll take that one. I've got a really shit one on that arm. It's just shit luck. Thank you. Good night.
won't get a close up of that one.
No.
Winner. Inches or Guinness?
Oh, Guinness. Jesus Christ.
Right. Start
Fun
one,
questions.
bench one, and drop one. Matt Nish, Archie, and Young Cham.
Start one.
Bench one and drop one.
Oh, that's simple. I'll start Niche. I'll bench Archie, and Cham can go play for the fifth.
All right. Same 3 players. Shag, marry, kill.
Same. Same order.
No, I think I'd marry Niche, shag Archie, and kill Ben. Are we talking young Ben or old Ben?
Young Ben.
Yeah.
Prime Shag. Right. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I haven't really got one. I'm shit at singing. If I had to sing a karaoke song, is it supposed to be quick fire? American Pie, Don McLean.
Nice.
Very nice. Worst teammate you've ever had?
Nick
Not the
Harvey.
worst player.
Nick Harvey. I always pick on Nick. He was a good player in his day, Nick. He's a good lad.
All right. Who's the biggest drinker at Raisin?
Now, currently, or that I've ever known.
Both.
That I've ever known, Ollie Cole could put some beer away. Big beer drinker. Now, I don't know if the lads who are big drinkers. I don't know who's a big drinker in your lot.
I'm trying to think as well.
Rumour has it Dino Dean can put a picture away.
Can he?
Yeah, well, we don't know that. We don't know yet, Dino.
Yeah, we've
Right,
not had
you
one
wait.
yet.
You wait. The bastard's going to get it, isn't he? Yeah. I didn't know. I don't like to come in the changing room. Is a great place, isn't it? Before and after a game, the changing room is like before a game. I used to sit down. And I used to get, for some reason, I used to be yawning all the time and get really tired. And I thought, why the fuck am I yawning? Is it because I'm like bored or what have you? And this was when I was captain in big games. I didn't realise that adrenaline can do that to you at the same time as get you up for something. So,
Yeah.
But that feeling of being in the changing room with your boys is just, you cannot. There's nothing in this world that can compare to that. And in the olden days, they used to do quite a lot of fucking around in the change rooms before a game, making a lot of noise for the opposition to hear. And it used to make the hair stand up on the back of your neck, and somebody'd always be saying something inspirational. And then after a game, especially after a win, after a hard win, not a 30, 40 pointer, a win that you've had to absolutely lay your bodies on the line, sat in the changing rooms looking at your mates and not having to say too much, you cannot buy that.
Having a picture of beer.
Yeah,
I imagine that'd be quite nice.
Yeah, I'll bring you a picture of beer, because at least it comes from the club then, because you're not allowed to take your own bottles in there.
Yeah.
Smart. Please don't piss in it. And if you do,
I wouldn't do
right,
that.
right, Dino on the side before you
do. I wouldn't do that.
We'll make sure it goes to the
No,
big
what I was saying is about coming in your changing rooms. I've never, to be honest with you, I've not thought to do it for the simple reason I think that is, for me, I think that's your lad's space. I can remember being intruded a couple of times before a game by certain people, not to be named, to have to call me out on a few things just before a game.
Yeah.
Or coming after, and it's like, it's just not their place. That's your guy's place.
Players' territory.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and I think it's mate, the change room is a special place.
Yeah,
it really is.
Agree. Good answer. All right, one word to describe the club right now.
One word. My vocabulary is very poor.
Rugby.
No.
I've got potential in my head.
Yeah, potential shit. That's a shit word.
Cheers.
It's not potential.
Cut that bit.
There's what I don't know. For me, not as the club right now, but as the club overall, it's like, I just think it's family.
Yep.
I can't think of anything else. It's a home and a family for people. So, yeah.
Yep.
That's wet. I know it's a bit wet, but anyway, that's how I feel.
Living life a quarter game at a time.
We're an inclusive podcast, Dino. We're allowed to be wet sometimes.
Yeah, good out.
Yep.
Right. If you could call up one professional rugby player to play for Raisin right now, who would you call up and why?
Current player.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben Earl.
He's a player at the moment.
Would he keep Jake? Would Jake Pryor keep him outside though?
No, because Jake. To be fair to Jake's done his bit. He's done his bit. So you can't. Whatever Jake's done playing wise, you can't take that away from him. So Jake not mind going on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, not one bit. And he'd show Youngie how to actually run when he's got the ball under his arm. A bit more aggression. He needs a bit more aggression.
Is that Youngie?
Youngie needs to carry a bit harder, because he's got potentially could be a really good 8.
Big old boy as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he just needs to fucking put it about a bit.
Bit uglier.
Yeah, bit uglier.
Yeah.
Bit uglier. Less of the football out in him.
Although he did score set up a very nice chip and chase try last week, and that he brought the footballer out for a little quarter of an hour, and it went quite well.
He'd have got stuck into for kicking the ball for a start, but anyway.
Yeah.
It's because he was a back for the weekend.
Yeah.
He let loose.
Yeah.
I do wonder sometimes. He's 6'4", 100 and whatever kilos. Come on, mate.
Yeah, just get them legs going and he
carried a lot though. I think he was like
he did carry a lot.
14, 15 carries a week, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Not carries. Yeah, does do damage. Right, quick fire. Who's the most Raisin style player we've got in the current side?
Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question.
On Saturday, did you find yourself going, "Oh, that's a bit of Raisin"?
Yeah, probably. To be fair, Dean.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fair comment, because Raisin have always been known as a bit of an big ugly set of forwards. You know, we've not got the real big aggressive pack that we've had in the past, but there was a bit of that in Dean at the weekend.
Yep.
So yeah.
All right. Them's are our questions. have you got any questions? I don't know if you've got any questions for us. You got anything you want to call us up on, call us out on? Anything?
I would not know for a start. I won't call anybody out on anything, because obviously that's all done by the boys who need to do that sort of thing.
Pass the notes on, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Dinner's at
absolutely.
the top of the chain. It just slowly trickles back down to us.
So no, I love still being part of the club, and I'm quite excited about where we are, and you boys are obviously a big part of that, and it's just fantastic. And being involved with the club for so long, as I touched on at the start, was, you guys have got huge potential to be one of the best sides to have worn the Raisin colours. And I find it quite interesting that lads do come and go a bit more than what they did in my time. And I just wonder, I don't know, you maybe can't. I wonder what the motivation is. The motivation just to play at a higher level, do you think? Or to say that you've played at a higher level? I don't know what the motivation is when you could be part of something big going forward at our club.
I think sometimes it's not probably directly the rugby. So obviously now, if you think about the job market and where unis are big, you got to think about university. That's a big one, where people just get used to an 18-year-old. Okay, you chucked out the door, you go and live somewhere for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is, and then you might find, you get a girlfriend, or the job takes you to Birmingham or Manchester or London, or Speaking for me, for example, I finished university and then I went to Italy. I went abroad for 6 years. I only came back. I came back at the start of the season. I think I'd landed on the Monday and I was at training on the Tuesday and I was playing on the Saturday. And I've not played rugby for years. So me personally, it was just a went away for work thing, and then come. I suppose that's to your point about family. There's a reason I came back. I come over from Gainsborough, so I travel a bit as well to get to Raisin. But I remember thinking, if I'm going to play rugby, I've got to go back to Raisin. I'm not going to go anywhere else.
Yeah. And it's a bit like Pete Southwell played in my time as well, and he was a Cleethorpes lad. But I think Pete now sees Raisin as his club, without a shadow of a doubt. But Pete's a bit of a stalwart now. He's giving back as well, which is great, because there's very few people from my era that are still kicking around the club. You don't have to do stuff; just come and enjoy the club.
Saturday afternoon if you want.
Yeah, 100%. You don't even have to go in the bar if you don't have to. Come and watch the rugby, or just come and have a drink, or what have you. But you say about travelling, I did have. While I was thinking a little bit today about when I was skipper, we had a lad who you would know of him, but I'm not going to mention his name. But we had a lad who got in a bit of trouble with the police when we were in an RFU competition, and we'd got to the final of this competition. The game after this final, which was over at Stoke-on-Trent, the game after that would have been fortunate enough, would have been playing at Twickenham, but we just didn't quite make it. But this lad got in trouble with the police, been arrested, and he was not allowed in Lincolnshire. So he wasn't allowed to come and train, but he was an integral part of the team. And I asked, do you know Rocket? Dave Moore, ex-captain of the club, great lad, Rocket. He went to court on behalf of the club to try and get the exclusion zone lifted so that he could come and train at Market Raisin Rugby Club. Went to court, went through all that. It was thrown out. There's no way. It's only rugby. It means nothing to the court, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, he was allowed to play in the final because it was at Stoke-on-Trent. If it had been in Lincolnshire, he wasn't allowed. Anyway, we ended up losing. But it was bizarre, the lengths that people would go to. I think Rocket had to go to Nottingham Crown Court or Magistrates Court to try and get this lifted. But people would go the extra mile, and I'd like to think that, this current crop of lads that you've got now, they look like they're probably in it for the long haul a little bit, and that you would do them
especially I suppose we've got two groups at the minute. We've kind of got senior groups of lads that kicked around. So as I say, when I came back, it's personally because I came back to watch or train for the first time. I thought, well, I just need to run around, and I wasn't really thinking about playing again. But then when it's Chris Starlings and Peter coaching, who are my starting props really, and then Tommy Aldridge, same thing, kind of taught me a lot. Chris Starling was my captain when I first rolled up. Chris Starling was my captain, so I kind of felt a bit like they half gave me the nod and said, "Oh, do you fancy playing again?" I thought I probably owe them a little bit, actually. So,
yeah, well, that's just it. And I feel that too many people do stop playing at one time a day. In the olden days, players would go and then start playing down the side when they became less capable of playing. And your first team captain potentially would have ended up being a third team captain or a fourth team captain. That doesn't happen now because of family life's completely different than what it used to be. The rugby family's different than it always used to be. We try to embrace everybody now. It's great to see the wives and the kids now. And I think for it to be sustainable, we have to do that. It's not just we all like to go out and have a blowout, don't we, as boys? We all like to do that. And it's not sustainable to go out every weekend on the piss with the lads after a game of rugby. Them days are gone. But it doesn't stop every so often you lads going out there together and doing that and bonding like we bonded. I've got some rugby lads who have been mates since I was in my late teens and are still mates now. And we talk about rugby as if we were the greatest players in the world. But obviously we were just very average rugby players. But when you stop playing and that's gone, there's something quite special about reminiscing and talking about what you did. And we flower it up a bit and we talk how great we were and what have you, but we were probably just very average. But it doesn't harm in dreaming a little bit, does it, about how good you used to be? And then watching you lads, and if we was as good as if we were as genuinely as good as what you lads are now, or potentially could be, we were half decent, because you lads, trust me, you're half decent, and you've got a bit going for you, and everything's there for you. I think the club have been very, very good at providing stuff to make it better for the players. You can ask for 100 things, you're not going to get 100 things, are you? If you get a percentage of the things you ask for to make it better, I think that's a win.
Yep.
So everything's in place for you guys. It's for you guys to embrace and use what's given to you to make it to make it successful and to make it better. And from what I see, was just starting to see the early shoots of that, and it's great. I think the club is in as good a position as I've seen it for a lot of years, and that's throughout the whole club. All the guys who Dom does an awful amount of stuff with the junior section. Eddie Timmins is knocking about all the time. These guys give an awful lot of the time to them, far more than what an Alec-a-do like me could give. People don't understand the amount of time that Steve Everton gives to the club. It's not seen because he's in the background doing it. And Crowe behind the bar and all that. It all molds into it being this big family, and family have fallouts, but at the same time we should have, let's enjoy the success when we get it and embrace it. And I think that, like I say, we're in a really good position. I think it would be a shame if you lads don't make the most of this and embrace it and take it forward. I've always thought of the analogy of the pyramid. It's like, I think early on in the season you was playing like you was at the bottom of the pyramid and all this weight of expectation was on you, but instead you need to be at the top of that, just leading the club forward. Because the first thing people, when they talk about Market Rasen Rugby Club, everybody wants to know what the first team are doing.
Yeah.
You're not just representing the first team, you're representing the whole club, and that's very true. That's not just a bit mythical. You are literally representing the whole club. And these young lads, when they, the young lads at the junior section and the Colts and the under 16s and all that, when they do look up to senior players. There's no two ways about that. And I think that's a real honour that you guys are in that position for people to want to do that.
I think as well. just sort of this level of rugby in general, how often do you see people or teams with these many coaches and the branches that come off at the top of the chain, like Ed Timmins, DOR, Cookie, Pete, Chris Starlow? You move to the twos and Freddie Norton, Willie Steer doing a massive shift as coaches, and then when the threes have got a team out, you've got Strapper and Dom leading. That's 7 people committing every weekend to making the teams better as well. And if you look across the board in our leagues, below leagues, like, you don't have that. You've got one head coach, and you're lucky if you've got any more. So
yeah,
it shows as well.
And the walking rugby, that is so successful. That's brought some of the older boys back into the club.
Yeah.
And what have you? They now become social members of the club. That it is just fantastic. Strapper puts a lot of time into what he does. You've got to put up with his bullshit, but he's great. He's the best bullshitter in the world. But what he's done, making them calls, rallying people, and the rally cry, it's fantastic. And
Agreed.
Like I say, there's an awful lot of people in the club who do an awful lot, don't want recognition for it. They don't want to be the face of something.
Do it for the club.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, I have a real deep affection for the club, as a lot of my friends have, who I spend time with. And, that's never going to disappear. But there'll be a time when somebody else will step up and do what we do, and they will. When you're gone, you're quickly brushed aside, and you are. So I'd say to you guys, enjoy your playing, because it comes to an end far too quick, and probably everybody's told you that, but it does. When it's gone, it's gone, and you'll never, ever, ever be able to replace what you do in playing, and that camaraderie. And as I say about that change room atmosphere, there's nothing in this world that will replace that. And fuck me, you'll miss it when it's gone. I'll tell you now.
Amazing.
I miss it now, and it's only Thursday.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we don't have a game this week.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, it's like, it is nearly, and you lads put quite a lot of legwork, and it's nearly a job, isn't it? It's nearly it's not a part-time thing. It's nearly a job that you just sort of, a lot of people are very lucky that the bosses tolerate them putting in what they put in for rugby. And yeah, there are some lads who will just turn up to train and then just play and disappear and what have you, but then that's fine if that's all they can put in. But to some people, if you want to really invest yourself, it's like my old coach. I'm probably bumbling on a little bit now, but my old coach was Simon Green, who was at Lincoln. He come over to us, and when I was captain, so let's start Saturday. You played on a Saturday. He'd speak to me on a Sunday for an hour, debriefing a game. Monday would be selection, so we'd have to do selection. You'd do that in person. Tuesday was training. Wednesday was talking about Tuesday training and what we was going to do on Thursday. Thursday training. Friday was talking about match day. It's 7 days a week with him, every day. And there's quite a few guys who are involved now with you lads who will have that. The rugby club will be involved in their lives 7 days a week.
Yeah.
But we do it happily, and we need to do it with a smile on the face. You lads play rugby because you enjoy it and you do it for fun. You ain't getting paid. It's not paying the mortgage. In some ways, it can be detrimental to that. But you do it because you love it. And like I say, you're a long time not playing, so keep enjoying it. God, I wish I could still play.
100%.
Yeah.
A great one to end on.
Good.
Thank you, boys. Dino, appreciate you coming on.
No, I've loved it. I suppose you jingle it up a bit, do you, and make it sound better than it really is.
No, perfect. We started, I think, in our first couple, making it more like a Q&A thing, where I feel like we're wanting to go into more of like the conversational thing. So having just conversations is that I personally think is the best way forward.
Yeah, we don't really have to edit anything, do we?
No. Okay, I get that. So, and you, I tell you what, he would be a good lad to have. Nee should be a good lad to get on. But maybe I think you should do a live one at the rugby club.
Yeah,
it's in the works.
I think you should do a live one at the rugby club, and that would be fantastic.
Yeah, we're gonna do. We're probably gonna do a post-match podcast corner as well. Like, we'll set up an interview and we'll have, like speed dating.
Yeah.
We get 10 minute sections of people on, stuff like that. We've got quite a lot planned for
So you've got to be very balanced with that. You need it to be positive and let the old negative boys have their say.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, that's why you're in this week, mate. Because last week we've had Ed Nichols on, who was just mad as a box of frogs. We thought, let's steady the ship, and we'll pull another idiot on next week.
Oh, good man. Yeah, I'm still not quite sure what bracket you put me in there.
That's up to you.
Yeah, I'll sort that out. Yeah.
Don't pigeonhole anybody.
Amazing. But thank you guys. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
ever so much,
All right.
fella.
Cheers,
Thank you. It's a
Cheers,
pleasure.
Dean. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.